Come here a sec. Okay. This is the 10x Leadership channel. It's about being a great leader. Great leaders have to do things differently. Otherwise, you're not going to stand out, are you? You're not going to be great. The channel will help you understand what it is you need to be doing. The sort of payback, I suppose, is that you need to invest in yourself. And that means watching some videos and learning. It's not a short video. It's only about 20 minutes or so, but it's not going to be a minute either. And that's because short videos don't tell you anything. So hopefully you want to stick around and see the rest of the video. So this week's video is part of the Modern Leadership series. So we've been covering that over the last few videos. This one is episode 44, and it's about cultural and ethical essentials as part of the inclusivity part of modern leadership. If you're new to this video and this channel, then this will all be new to you. If you've watched this before and you've watched some of the other videos, I'll put over here, what the time is of actually when this video starts, and you can just jump straight to that. So for everyone else, this is part of a modern leadership series. I started that back in episode 35, and we were talking about 3 elements that make up modern leadership. So that's adaptability, leveraging technology, and inclusivity. And it's all about us as leaders being able to navigate the really rapidly changing environment that we work in. And we covered off adaptability in episodes 31, 36 and 37. The leveraging technology we covered off in 38 to 41. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, it's worth going and having a look. And we then went on to the inclusivity piece, and there are a number of things in terms of inclusivity. So 5 elements that make up inclusivity. And we covered off the first 2, empowerment and decentralisation, and collaborative leadership in episode 43. You might win a prize for being the first one to watch it. It's a good video, by the way. I don't know whether it's a title or something else. Nobody's clicked on it yet. Give it a go. What we're going to cover off today is items C and D, the cultural intelligence and ethical leadership part of inclusivity. And for me, hopefully you've seen by now, I like to try and keep things as simple as possible. And for me, there are 5 essentials that we all need to know about. So that's equality, it's diversity, it's inclusion, it's equity, and it's social value. And you might think, oh yeah, I've heard all this before. Well, you might have done, but actually what I've tried to do in this video is come at it from a slightly different angle. Try and simplify it and just, I suppose, come at it from a leadership perspective. Funny old thing, it's a leadership channel. And come at it from a leadership perspective that really should help you understand why should we do any of these things. So let's have a look at the first one. So equality. The sort of strap line for that, as far as I'm concerned, is about levelling the playing field. So what do I mean by that? It's really about everyone getting the same opportunity. It doesn't matter who they are. It's about giving everyone a fair shot at success without bias and without barriers. So if you think about a company that offers the same training and promotion opportunities to all employees, so that ensures that advancement is based on skills and performance. Not how long you've been there, not whether you're very similar to the boss, not whether you're mates with the boss. It's about levelling the playing field and everyone getting the same opportunities, because there will be people in the company or organisation that can do an absolutely cracking job if they give them the chance. And 10x leaders, so great leaders, set clear merit-based expectations and ensure that rewards are earned fairly. And it's really key, the merit-based. So what you want is, you want to get rid of all the barriers so that the best people rise to the top. Because if you're not doing that, and the best people are stagnating and the worst people are getting to the top, your company's not going to be around for long. You're going to start going backwards. Performance is going to deteriorate. It's going to get worse and worse. So really good, in fact, great leaders will look for people who have ability, get rid of the barriers, make sure they're treated fairly, and allow them to rise. So it's as simple as that. Diversity is about different skills and stronger teams. So that's the strapline in my head for diversity. And again, what do I mean by that? Well, it's about having a team with a variety of skills, a variety of experiences, and a variety of perspectives that are going to help solve problems better and faster. So imagine a construction firm that hires engineers from different industries. So instead of just having exactly the same mindset as all the other people who've gone through the same sort of training, the same sort of experiences, it's about bringing different people in that will have fresh ideas that can improve, in this case, because it's a construction firm, it's about engineering, improve safety and efficiency. But it equally applies to any industry. And again, the 10X, the great leaders, are going to recognise that the best solutions come from a mix of experiences. And that building teams based on capability and perspective is much better than just doing it on like-mindedness. Some people call it groupthink. If you've just got a load of people who are going to think the same and act the same, you're just going to keep getting the same results. That isn't going to move you forward. And as I've said in many, many videos up to this point, the world keeps turning. Companies keep improving. If you're not one of them, you're in fact going to be falling behind. So you've got to keep on top of things. And one of the great ways of doing that is by having a diverse team. One of the things I did just want to touch on here is that quite often when we talk about diversity, we talk about having a team that's representative of the wider community. So I just want to explore that for a minute as well. So here in the UK, we have 9 protected characteristics. Excuse me. And they are, as you can see, age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion and or belief, sex, and sexual orientation. And here in the UK law protects against discrimination based on those characteristics. And obviously that's a brilliant thing. We don't want anyone to be discriminated against, who have those characteristics. The problem for me, though, is that there's a whole load of other characteristics that it doesn't under law protect. And what I see all too often is that people are only interested in these ones. And I understand why that is, because there's a law that says you've got to make sure that you're not discriminating. But for me, that doesn't go far enough. That's not in the spirit of diversity. That's not what it's about. It's about making sure, as we said before, it's got a variety. You've got a variety of people with a variety of experiences, and there'll be other characteristics that, in my world, we should also be taking into account. The other danger is that it just becomes a tick box exercise, where people think, right, we need X number of, women or black people or people with certain sexual orientation. It's not a tick box exercise. It is about variety. It's about diversity. But if we're going down that route, we've got it wrong. And the other thing it does is it leads to a load of stereotyping, and it does it in multiple ways. So if we're not careful, we start thinking of everyone, all women as exactly the same. But equally, we think about the opposite there. We think about all men as also being exactly the same. And of course, that isn't true either, is it? not everyone that has any of these characteristics, or in fact any characteristic, is identical to somebody else who has that characteristic. We are all different. So, if we start going down the tick box exercise or the stereotyping, we're going to get ourselves into a real mess. So for me, diversity is much more about individuals, not stereotypes. It's about understanding individuals and, I suppose, treating them as individuals. And it's about bringing a range of people together. We are leaders. We're there to lead a team to, deliver whatever it is that your company or organisation does. And we should be bringing people together regardless of characteristics. I mentioned merit-based on the other slide. That's what we're interested in, a diverse group of people who are really capable or have the ability to be really capable. And, the reason that we want to do that is because it's the right thing to do, but also because, as the strapline that top suggests, it creates stronger teams. And there's lots of research that shows that more diverse teams are more effective, more productive, and that is what we should be aiming for. So that's diversity. The next one's inclusion. And the strapline here for me is about making the most of every team member. So let's have a look at that. So a strong team is one where everyone contributes or can contribute. And good ideas aren't lost just because good ideas aren't lost just because someone is quiet or overlooked or a whole range of other reasons. So imagine a company that values input from every department, junior staff included, because fresh ideas can come from anywhere. And I think, again, I've covered this in one of the previous videos in this modern leadership series. We should be learning from everyone, not just, the most senior people in the organisation. And if this is an example about junior staff feeling that they can contribute. Well, why shouldn't they? It is about making the best of the talent that you have in your entire organisation or company. It's not just about, only listening to people who've got promoted a few times. And the great leaders, the 10x leaders here, will make sure that the best idea wins, not just the loudest voices. So it's about creating an environment where people feel comfortable speaking up, adding value. I suppose also challenging where, it is usually senior leaders, let's be honest, where senior leaders think because they're senior, they've got the answer. Well, they might have had the answer, 5, 10, 20 years ago when they were experts in the field, but usually they're not. They become more and more generalist the more senior they become. And you will have experts in your team. Make the most of them. Really utilise their talent and ability. And there's a top tip for me about inclusion. And that is, if the inclusion activity in your company doesn't resonate with everyone, you haven't got it right. And again, I think what we tend to do is we tend to think about inclusion usually for people in minority groups. But by the very nature of the word, it isn't about any given group, it's about everyone. So we just need to be careful that we don't do the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here, which is bring everyone into the fold and make certain people feel important at the expense of everyone else. So that's inclusion. Linked to inclusion is equity. And quite often we don't talk about equity. And it's, for me, the strapline here is about giving people the tools to succeed. So what does that mean? Well, not everyone starts from the same place. Sometimes fairness is about giving people the right tools, not the same tools. And there's a graphic I want to share with you in a minute that just illustrates that. But imagine a company that supports staff that need flexible working or flexible working hours for personal commitments, ensuring productivity stays high whilst allowing them to perform at their best. Now, in order to understand that, you've just got to sort of flip it on its head, haven't you? The alternative to that is a company that says, well, look, we do 9 till 5 or 8 till 4 or whatever the hours are. And, we're doing that because that's fair to everyone. Well, in some ways it is. It's treating everyone in the same way. But that tool or that approach isn't going to suit everyone. And, equity is about finding the right tools to help everyone to succeed. So in this particular instance, it's about thinking about people who might need flexible working and, not making an exclusion and an example of, well, we'll do it for that person. It's about making that available to people because it makes sense. So again, what would 10x leaders do? Great leaders recognise that people have different strengths and challenges. So instead of a one-size-fits-all, it's about giving people the support they need to allow the team to thrive. And all too often I hear about people saying, well, we want consistency, we want it to be identical. That's not going to work. You don't go into a clothes shop and find a pair of jeans that is just one size, because it doesn't work. And I want to sort of illustrate that with a graphic. So this sort of illustrates the difference between equality and equity. So equality here is giving everyone the same bicycle, exactly the same bicycle. That is completely equal. Everyone's got the same tool, except you've got different people there who have different needs. And equity is about giving them the right tool. And as you can see, the person with a disability on the left-hand side has got a completely different bike. The second person then has got a much bigger bike because that's going to be much more effective and efficient. And the child on the right-hand side, the bike at the top is much too big for them. It's not going to work. So they've got an appropriate size bike or tool that helps them. And when you look at it like this, it just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And we would do that naturally in life. We wouldn't think we're just going to go and buy a bike regardless of person's size or ability. You would get them a bike that's appropriate. Yet somehow when we come to, working with our teams and in the work environment, we think it's a strange concept. In my view, it isn't. Hopefully that really helps clarify the difference between equality and equity. And then lastly, this is about social value. So this is the ethical side of leadership. And it's about doing the right thing, and it's also about building reputation. So let's have a quick look at that. So good businesses aren't just profitable. And I know not every company is profitable. There are charities, there are government departments, etc. But it's about contributing to the employees, customers, and communities in meaningful ways. So again, imagine a company that ensures fair pay and good working conditions in its supply chain. So it picks responsible suppliers, even if that's slightly more expensive, because it's the right thing to be doing. So again, 10x leaders, great leaders, will think beyond the sort of short-term profit, and they'll make decisions to benefit the business, their employees, and the community. Not just because it's trendy or it's the thing to be doing, but because, it is the right thing to be doing, but it is going to be better for all, and it's certainly going to be better for all in the long run. So, more and more companies now are thinking about the ethical, the environmental, the green side of business, because it isn't just about making profit. So those are the 5 essentials. Just go through them again. So equality, diversity, inclusion, equity, and social value. And I suppose in summary, I just want to leave you with, a couple of statements really. It's about everyone getting a fair chance to succeed based on merit and effort, not background or connections. And as we saw in the previous slide, it's also about making sure we give people the right tools to succeed. We don't treat everyone exactly the same. We don't stereotype. We treat people like individuals, and that's how we're going to get the best from them, and they're going to be happiest. And the other bit, the ethical side of it, is about doing the right things for all. It's not just about, making as much profit as you can at the expense of everything else and everyone else. And, again, intuitively you might be thinking, well, yeah, I know all that. Well, make sure you're putting it into practice, because it is going to make a difference and it is going to lead to success. Whether that's, success in your team or your company, your individuals are going to feel happier in your team. People are going to want to come and work for you. Your customers are going to want to buy from you because you're an ethical company and you're one that has lots and lots of variety and diversity and ways of solving the problems that keep you and your company ahead of everyone else. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, just let me know. As ever, if you can like, if you can subscribe, that would be fantastic. It just helps the channel. And give me some comments. Give me your views. What I'm also interested in doing as well is we're not far off the end of this modern leadership series. I'm thinking about doing a sort of how-to series after that, which is about how to solve certain leadership problems. So if you've got leadership problems you want me to talk about and explain how I would tackle them, then drop me a comment and I'll pick them up. That's it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.